Welcome to step 2 of the Macc tool. It asks you to specify the principal way in which your intervention is meant to contribute to adaptation. The introductory panel first introduces the concept of three interconnected dimensions of adaptation to climate change. The first dimension refers to building adaptive capacity, which means the creation of capabilities for the relevant actors to enable adaptation to take place. The second dimension is adaptation action. It entails all activities that actively reduce climate risks and vulnerabilities. The difference between dimension 1, adaptive capacity, and dimension 2, adaptation action, is that dimension 1 creates the potential for adaptation to happen, whilst dimension 2 comprises actions that directly aim at reducing risk and vulnerabilities. For example, if an adaptation plan is formulated, this would classify as adaptive capacity and therefore dimension 1, because it doesn't guarantee that the plan will be implemented. The label of dimension 2, adaptation action, applies only once concrete actions to realize elements of the plan that actually lead to reduction of vulnerability exist. The third dimension of adaptation is sustainable development. It describes the overall aim of successful development in spite of climate change. Ensuring development goals can be met despite climate change requires both adaptive capacity and adaptation action. Thus, their three dimensions build on each other and are interlinked, as you can see here on this graph. The distinction between the three dimensions is meaningful because each is likely to require different kinds of interventions, indicators, and information. In the first action field, you are asked to describe the proportion of your project referring to dimension 1, adaptive capacity, and dimension 2, adaptation action. Your estimation of the percentage can be based on the current project outline and planning and serves as a rough estimate. The purpose is to reflect how the adaptation process is being supported by the project. You can fill in your estimates in this box, and the tool will automatically calculate the further percentage. For example, if you put in 20% for adaptive capacity, it will automatically calculate 80% for adaptation action. You also can see your estimate down here in this chart. The box to the right asks you to elaborate how this breakdown of your project matches the adaptation context outlined in step 1. The second action field asks you to further elaborate on how the specific composition of dimension 1 and 2 of your project can contribute to development in spite of climate change. The idea here is to stimulate thinking about how adaptation activities of your project can help safeguard economic, social, and environmental development goals. And finally, once you're done, you can select Yes here to indicate that you have completed this step. This will then be shown on the start page. To move to the next step, please click on this link or select step 3 down here.